Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Philip. This is Ranger's Respite, and today is Friday, and that means that it is time for another Whiskey Library review. This is number 18, and today I'm talking about uh, Trillium Distilling Company's Wake Robin Rye. Let me just put this banner up. This bottle was provided courtesy of the folks at Trillium Distilling Company for the purposes of discussion and review on the single malt frontier. You may be asking yourself, why would they provide a rye for the single malt frontier? And that's actually something that's interesting. I recommend going and watching that episode of the single malt frontier. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. They sent us 2 bourbons and a rye. And I will say the bourbons were big hits at my D&D table, which is always a good sign because they have good taste, even if they aren't really necessarily whiskey people. Now, they were at the time planning on releasing an American single malt whiskey. It's been a little while, and I think that we should check back in on them, but we're still scheduling first quarter of 2026. Um, so keep an eye out for that. Before I get any farther, if you like the show, if you want to see more episodes of the show, I'd really appreciate you supporting the show by purchasing from the selection of designs on my TeePublic shop, or if you want something a little bit more special, I've made a selection of pens out of French oak ex-cognac casks that were used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. I can't tell you what exactly it was. What I can tell you is that it is amazing stuff. The whiskey is great, the pens are cool, and I had a lot of fun making them. Proceeds from the sale of those pens goes to ensuring the continuation of this show and the single malt frontier. Without further ado, let's get into the Wake Robin Rye. On the nose, it's a little bit subtle. There's a little bit of baking spice. Might have to take a COVID test because I'm not getting much on here at all. There it is. There it is. There's a nice light butteriness to it. Some like butterscotch caramel notes. A little bit of aniseed, a little bit of fennel, just a hint of like, not mint, but mint adjacent. A little bit of like cinnamony, clovey notes. And a little bit of oak tannin. It says 46% alcohol by volume, 92 proof. There's just a hint of alcohol sting on the nose, but not a lot. Not that you'd expect a lot for 46%, but there is just a hair there. Mm. On the palate, there's a hit of like herbaceous, aniseed, fennel, like fresh cut greenery, and then sort of a smooth velvety layer of um, caramel and vanillins, barrel influence, basically, sort of roll over the top. And then just behind them come the cavalcade of baking spices, cinnamon, cloves, um, something that I can't quite identify, but it is definitely like a baking spice note, not like spicy, but like, cooking spices. When you're cooking or baking, you use spices. Maybe a little bit gingery. I can't, it's hard to explain. Second mouthful on the palate, a little bit more minty, mentally notes creep up. Um, this says produced by Trillium. I could have sworn that they were producing their own distillate, but I could be wrong. So the nose is almost non-existent. Not a really strong nose, which is interesting. The finish reminds me of Sagamore Spirit Rye, just a little bit. But the nose and the palate sort of is like, one of those, like, the nose is small, the palate is big, and the finish is a pretty sharp taper. It gets kind of bitter and herbal. I like that. I like herbal ryes. Um, it's all right. Yeah. So, I always ask and answer 3 questions. First one, do I like it? Yeah, it's all right. Um, I try to stay really positive on the single malt frontier. Um, I will say that this is a very good approachable rye. I think that pretty much anybody could drink and enjoy this rye. I prefer like sort of bigger, bolder flavors than this delivers, and that's okay. Everyone has their own preferences, and this is a solid product. It has no flaws, as it were. Second question: do I think it's a good value? Yeah, absolutely. If you live in an area where it is available, this is a relatively affordable, high quality rye whiskey. If you want to buy a rye whiskey that's a little bit different from like Redemption and Bullet, or especially different from Bullet, because you don't want to buy Bullet, this is good stuff. It supports a company that's been around for a while that has more recently tried their hand at distilling. They've definitely got good stuff in the pipeline. They're really excited about these products, and they care a lot about what they're producing. Excuse me. Third question, do I recommend it? Yeah. I think I may have already, like, jumped the gun on this one. Yeah, I think that if you're looking for something a little bit different from, like, Redemption or Bullet, or you don't wanna buy Bullet because Bullet's a terrible brand, Wake Robin is a good place to go. It's a nice solid rye. I like their label. Their label stands out nicely. Their bottles are kinda cool, not gonna lie. I like the square bottles. I mean, it's not a square. I like the like rectangular bottles. Um, I will say, feedback from somebody who works at a bar is that they prefer bottles that fit in a normal space, and this is a little bit wider. So, eh. Um, but that was actually not about this specific bottling. This is about a different bottling that they were annoyed by. Um, Now, I've already done my sales pitch. I'm gonna just hit it again real quick. Supporting the show, you can do so by purchasing a design from my TeePublic store. You can get either the designs on shirts, on like stickers, mugs, hats, that sort of thing. Um, I also sell these pens made from French oak cognac cask that was used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what we're reviewing. Not next week, believe it or not, because Lodge Dry Week starts this Friday. I'd forgotten about it. So this Friday, today afternoon, when this is going up, but this is recorded ahead of time. Um, but uh, shoot, I hate it when that happens. Darn ads. Um, Basically, Dry Week starts today at noon, ends next Friday at noon. I frequently do something non-alcoholic, but I think I'm going to step away from that for this week. Spend the time doing some other things, getting some woodworking done, etc. But in the meantime, Let's see what we're going to be reviewing next time the show is the Whiskey Library reviews come up. Ooh, Smooth Ambler Contradiction. I know where it is. I can't get to it at the moment because there's like a pile of things in front of it, and I'd have to rearrange to get to it. Uh, that's an interesting one. Great example of a distilling producer, um, blending their own distillate with sourced distillate. Now, all that said, all that out of the way, I'll see you tomorrow for my pre-recorded review of Lost Lantern's Opulent Orchard, or as Sturm would say, Opulent Orchard. Until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Slancha.